All right, now I think we're good on socials. Good morning, everyone. This is the first time I'm doing these free live streams, so forgive me for making a mess of my first stream there on socials. So we get better while we get along, right? While we keep pushing through. What I did want to mention today, we have a few things that I want to go over before market opens, because when market opens, everyone's going a little crazy. We need to simmer down and just know what's going on in the overall market. So I did put this little document together real quick, so we can go through the preview of the morning so far. Okay, let me see here. Mm-mm-mm. Maybe this side is better. There we go. Maybe this side, you can see me better. I think that's maybe better there if we do it like that. Okay. All right. So the preview, guys, we got a few things going on. The overall market is, so far it was a little bit mixed, right? We had the Dow Jones down so far in the morning. Nasdaq, we had SPY, S&P up in pre-market as well. But I think the biggest thing that we can look at today is pretty much the Tesla earnings from yesterday, right? We had a lot of mixed earnings there. They obviously they beat revenue estimates, but they warn, and that's the thing that investors are looking at, is the big challenging quarters ahead. So okay, they may have beat revenue, they may have beat sales and EPS, and everything looks good in this past quarter. But going forward is what people want to see, and that's going to make the decision for them, right? So for Tesla, we got the whole incentive that's going to be gone, the EV incentive, because Trump signed into that new big beautiful bill, that incentive will be taken away, and that's starting from September, I believe. So I think that's going to also take a big hit on their sales. So Tesla did mention, Elon Musk did mention that there's going to be some challenging quarters ahead, and that's why we see the stock down 6% here in pre-market. So I think this is a big one that we need to watch going into market open. It really hasn't bounced at all. We're still down at pre-market lows. Actually, we're kind of bouncing right at that 310 level, and I am going to be watching that 310 level, because if we lose 310, I think we got some downside to about 306. Maybe we get down to that $300 range today even. I'm thinking maybe by the end of the week, but maybe we get to 300 today just by the volatility and the movement in the stock so far overnight. So I will be kind of planning this trade out, and it's on my screen now. And I've just got this on the left side. I got the pre-market right here on the right, and I'm gonna either look for a drop of 300. This is what it's good to be in the pre-market, right? Just to plan these things out. Is that if we lose this 300 here, then I'm going to be planning to play it down to this 306. At least 306 will be my target. Now, it doesn't mean we have to jump into it right at market open here, right? The worst thing you can do, from my personal experience, I've been doing this for 10 plus years, actively, is not to jump right in after market open. I feel like letting it play out maybe 10, 15 minutes after market open. Let that action of buying and selling happen, and then once we get a true clean trend, if we get it, we can play the trend. So I'm going to wait maybe 10, 15 minutes after market open, see what happens with Tesla's price action there, see what the volume's telling us, see what the RSI is telling us, and then plan out after that. So I'm looking for a drop of 310 for downside move. And then if we start to push higher, the volume comes in, we start to see some good buying volume, then I'd be looking for a move over this area, which is about 314. And that is, if I move this out the way on the left side here real quick, there's a gap right here. So we can get into the 314 range and then push into, target range about 318 would be where my target is. So you can see we lose 310, my downside target's $4 lower. If we get through 314, then we get to 318, which is $4 target higher. So I am trying to just plan this out before market opens, right? Because market opens will start panicking. People don't have a plan. They just want to jump in. So that's why I'm here as a coach to help you with equity, swing trading, with day trading, to kind of plan out your day early before the market hits and so much volume comes in, right? So I'd rather just come in about 15, 30 minutes early, plan out a trade. It doesn't have to be Tesla. It could be another trade. It could be SPY. It could be Apple. It could be whatever one that's looking good for the day. I will pick that one. And today just happens to be Tesla because of earnings, right? So I think this one's just going to be driving today, probably a very clean trend after market opens. So loss of this, we play down here. Above here, we play up to this area here. Also, like if you play, we're playing options here. If you're going to go calls, then I would probably look at maybe $5 out the money calls. I wouldn't go so far out of the money. So maybe if we get to the upside above 314, maybe I'll look for like 320 calls for either the end of the week, or you can go next week if you want a little bit more time. Because time is essential. I don't want to rush into having an expiration that's tomorrow and then you panic and don't know what to do if it's going against you. So more time is better to plan, kind of adjust yourself, have a stop loss that doesn't get hit right away. And also, you have a bit of time to take maybe more profits to the upside. So maybe next week is better for you, but I'll be looking maybe $5, max maybe $10 out the money for calls or puts. So if we're looking here above 314, probably looking at 320 calls, and then drop of 310, I'm probably looking at 305 or $300 puts. Like I said, depends what your risk is tomorrow. If you want to just do a quick day trade today, if you want to kind of swing a little bit, and maybe into next week is a better expiration for you, or maybe 2 weeks. So is everyone kind of prepared for the morning? Is this different for everyone to kind of get up and kind of plan out a little trade before market opens? How many people, like a show of hands, how many people do that? And how many people want to do that now? Because in coaching, that's what we're doing. We're kind of driving ourselves to preparing for trades instead of just jumping into things without any information. So yeah, market's open now, and now all the panicking begins, but not for us, right? Because we're already kind of planning out the trade already. So how many people have jumped into a trade already? Let's be honest here, because I'm sure a lot of people are already jumping into trades and don't know really why they're jumping into trades, or maybe they're just feeling a little FOMO already. So Tesla already dropping here, but doesn't mean we have to jump in on that first red candle, right? Not today. Let's have a look. I did yesterday before closing. Okay, calls. Well, you got calls on Google. I mean, I'm sure you're sweating a little bit up when we got that first reaction to Google's earnings, and then we got a nice push after that, right? It's up 3% now. It's pretty good. Google is, but yeah, I honestly thought that Tesla was going to get dropped just because of that uncertainty. We got that uncertainty going on, and then then we have the whole political stuff going on with Elon Musk. His focus is all over the place, and he's not really focused on Tesla as a whole, right? So you can see that with these numbers and not being very focused. And we're seeing that with the guidance, and we're seeing that, with the actual price action. Investors are spooked. One in the chat if you're taking a trade. Two if you are all cash. Okay, so yeah, that's good, guys. So I'm a coach for the swing trading side, right? And also day trading. So I'm the one that's doing the watch list alerts in the Discord for PB alerts. And then I'm also doing swing trading. And that is my primary focus. I'm using simple strategies to get us into trades, to know where to aim as targets, to know where we should, some guidance where we should put our stop losses in place to protect ourselves, right? Because not every single trade is going to be a winning trade. Let's be honest here. I've never met someone, maybe I will soon, that has been 100% winners in their whole portfolio. That is you're never gonna really see that at all, right? So I'm someone that started a long time ago. I've started like 10, 15 years ago, and I was just trading with my uncle. My uncle was a stockbroker, and he was just trading penny stocks, also some quality stocks too. But when I was trading when I was like 14 years old, I was trading these penny stocks in England. So I'm from the UK, and I was just trading penny stocks on a TV screen is where I would see my updates about my actual penny stock. So it's pretty wild that I would be sitting in my living room and just reading through a bunch of text on the TV. Look at Tesla drop, baby. Look at that baby go. 300 is probably going to be tapped today. Look at that. So I used to just sit there in front of the TV, kind of I had written down what my shares were, what I was looking for, see how they were doing for the day, kind of where I started to trade, right? And I didn't have very good success because I probably didn't have a good plan. I didn't know what I was looking for. I was young. I was, a little naive there, thinking I'm just going to pick one, I'm going to make money. So I definitely learned a lot there, and I've come a very long way from trying out all kinds of strategies. I've been trying options. I've been trying, day trading, just focusing on day trades. I've been focusing on option trades. The one thing I've come down to that I've been more consistent with is just swing trading. It's something that, you don't need so much time in the day to do. So you don't have to be sitting here like we're sitting here all day long, because we have to. We're part of PB. We're helping everyone. We're helping with strategies, helping with questions. That's a lot different. But as a trader, if I was not doing that as a trader, I would just want to focus a few hours a day, preparing maybe a swing trade, or preparing what I should buy, where I should sell, where I should have stop losses in, and just kind of plan it out and not waste so much time in front of a screen. And that's what swing trading is about, and that's why I think I love it a lot too, is because I can just do some research in these companies. Fundamentally, I can go onto the charts on the bigger time frames, put out the support levels, put out the resistance levels, and just kind of let it play out and not have to rush and make decisions, because I don't have that time to be watching always, right? So I love my passion is swing trading. I'm not sure if there's some of my coaching students in here that can tell you a bit about the coaching program that we offer and how their feedback has been so far. But we've been doing very well, I feel like, just with a simple strategy. And even if we take losses, they're minimal losses, and the winners that we do make are going to outweigh those small losses if we do take some. So man, Tesla's jumping here, guys. Just how we planned out, we lose that 310, and if I get rid of this, we can see the reason why I said 310 is because we bounced here a few times, right? So we bounced off this level a few times. So that's going to be a point of interest for me. If we lose it, we're likely to take a trade to the downside, and we're going to see more downside. We're going to drop, and we're going to make some money to the downside. Same thing with the upside. We got resistance here. We got resistance here. We know that clearly if we can get above here, we're going to likely see some moves to the upside, because that's a strong point of resistance. So we got a little channel here that we can plan out before market opens. We lose 310, or we gain 314, 315, and we go upside. So right now we're down to 302. Did anyone take a Tesla trade so far? I'm here 24/7 because that's my job here. I'm here to be as a coach, to be here for alerts, to be here to help the community as much as I can. So I'm here like 24/7. You're right. Since COVID, we've been in PB like 24/7. a lot of our coaches, other coaches, and other admins here have been here and just non-stop working to help as many traders as possible, so you don't have to experience all the bad stuff that we went through. So we can kind of fast forward you through that mess and help you on a strategy that makes sense and is simple to you. And you can start seeing some profit instead of start seeing those big losses that we've incurred in the learning experience, 10 years ago or so. So that's where you can bypass, and that's not a very good place to be in, is to be alone trying to figure out what to do by yourself. So that's why coaching is vital to help you get on the right path right away from the get-go. So anyone take a Tesla trade? I broke my plan already. Well, shame on you. But we can get back from that, right? We can get right back on track. And it's good that you know that you broke the plan, so you can go back to figure out a way to get back on track and get back into the rhythm that you're used to. And I know, Fergie, you're used to making some really good, consistent profits. It's been very, very nice to watch you along the way. Get yourself together and on a good path. So let's have a look here. So anyone take any trade so far? The market's kind of flat, so S&P's flat. We did have jobless claims, so we can go back to my little preview here. We did have jobless claims come in actually a little bit weaker than expected. Jobless claims came in lower, so that's also pretty good for the job, for the strength of the jobs right now. There's less jobless claims out there. So we got a few more others that are coming in very shortly. At 10 o'clock, we got new home sales. And then 9:45, which is 5 minutes away, we have this PMI as well. So these are things to keep track of during the morning. Not every morning is going to have some very high rated data releases, but some days do. Like jobless claim is pretty high. It's probably about 3 stars out of 3 stars to keep track of. We see volatility when that news comes out. But some of them don't. They're like 1 star and they don't really move the market or drive the market. So jobless claims is one that does. So right now Tesla's still dropping. So, let me go down to knock it down to like the 3-minute chart here. And looking at this chart, all we see, what I see, right, because I've been doing this quite a bit, it's like there's just a lot of selling side volume. There's a little green right here that didn't really do much, right? We had a little push up, but look what we were met with again. It's more selling. So we got a lot of selling volume, and we have one little green bar, and then we're met with more selling volume. So right now, what does that tell you overall? That this price action is showing us is that there's downside. There's no upside momentum yet. The trend is still down. So it's not worth trying to fight to find the bottom reversal in this chart, right? Because it's just showing us downside. Why fight against it? So right now we're just in this little zone. I can draw a little box if we make it look pretty. Let me see here. We're just in this little zone. I'll put it right here. Oops, that may be a little bit too thick, right? So let me just put that down a notch right there. So we're just in this little box. It's really not doing much. So more downside for this would be if we lose this area here, maybe 302. If we lose 302, we're probably likely to see more downside to maybe 300. And all I'm doing is strategizing around what I'm seeing in the chart here. I'm not just guessing. I'm just looking at historical information, and these lines also that I drew out this morning met. If you go on the bigger time frames, you see that there's support and resistance levels, right? So it's not just off of today's pre-market action. If we go back like a week ago, those certain levels actually are levels that we bounced from, or levels that we got rejection from as well. So it's not just today. It can go back weeks. These certain levels that I'm plotting out on the chart here. Good stuff. And if you're in the coaching group, and this is what it's all about, is planning and just not and getting you in a great particular strategy and plan for each trade. Because if we just focus on one strategy and you just build a trading plan around the one strategy, a trading plan means like an entry, like how you build your positions, where you aim to take profit, and your stop loss, because that's the most important thing in any a particular trade, is protecting your downside here. We're not just saying we do that later. Before we get into a trade, we got to make sure that the risk that we're taking makes sense. And if we're taking 5% risk in our position in a swing trade, you want to at least get 2 times that on the upside. So you're risking 5%. You better look for 10%, 15, 20% return. For it to justify a reason to get into that trade and make sense to get into that trade. So, so a strategy, trading plan, all that really helps you focus, right? Focus better. And just mentioned there, one of our coaching students here sold half of their American Eagle $11 calls at $2.30. So you're probably up. I don't know if when you got into that position with me, Mac, but you may be up 100%. And all we did is plan that out as a group. We planned that out. We had a coaching session. We talked about certain levels. We talked about the volume. We talked about RSI. We talked about history in that actual chart on the bigger time frames, and we planned that trade. And you can see you're going to have a much higher probability of making profit in trades that you have planned out. You've taken your time to look at the fundamental side. You know what's going on with the company inside, under the hood, not just on the technical side. We know the fundamentals are strong, cash, revenue, income, everything's looking good to give us extra confirmation. Then we don't feel panicky anymore about the trade. We don't know if it was the right move because we've done all this, we've done all the homework. So we know that it makes sense for this kind of trade. So we build a plan around each stock that we look at. And if it doesn't meet our criteria, what do? We move on. It doesn't meet our criteria, we just move on. We go find one that does, or we just stay cash until we find one that makes sense to us. So now, yeah. So American Eagle was a big one that was that's been in my coaching program as well, in my Rest and Retire newsletter, from the 9s and 10s. Very, very easy area to look to build a position based on a few indicators that you can obviously learn in the coaching. Once you become a part of that group. For Tesla, all we're going to watch for now, it's bouncing a little bit. All we're going to watch for, if you didn't take the trade for market open, like we say, we let it play out a little bit. We're going to just look for a retest of these areas now, right? So I'm going to put these lines red because they were support. Now they're going to be resistance. So I'm going to get rid of all these lines that I planned out beforehand. Get rid of all these little arrows that I made. And what we're going to look, we see a nice push right here. So VWAP is also a big part of my indicators that I'm watching, because VWAP for day trades, not for swings, but for day trading, it's a big part. We normally, once we get through VWAP, we normally see that inflow of volume. Once we hold VWAP and start to push above it, we start to see an increase on that volume to the buy side. If we get rejection at VWAP, we may start to see more sell side volume come in. So VWAP plays a big part of my day trades in equity, also options as well. So that's what I'm going to look at now. We're either going to look at this 306 area, like the high 306, or VWAP rejection. And if we do get that, that could be a possible entry, or an entry to play the downside, right? So we could bounce, retest here and start falling lower here. Or we can start pushing up higher here, and then I look for a retest and then push off there for an entry to the upside. So I'm going to look at, this is where I'm going to be paying close attention to now, this 306. Really like 306.75. And then VWAP is at 306. So that's the setup, right? So not panicking. You can feel like I'm calm, I'm relaxed. I have a plan for this. So this will be an option trade, right? I'm not going to play equities for this particular Tesla trade because you're going to make a little bit of money on the equity, okay? But if we want to make 10, 15, 20%, we want to play we want to play the option trade. So I'm going to be, to be honest, I'm going to be looking at a rejection here and then playing down to maybe like 300 if we get the rejection. We have a look here. That'd be an option. Yeah, Charlie, that would be an option trade. Good question there. Yeah, these Tesla trades, unless you got in obviously right after the earnings, you would have got a nice return on equity trading this. But personally, I'm not going to trade for pennies on a $305 stock. I'm not going to trade for pennies on the equity side. I'm going to trade the option side and make a little bit more money on that trade. SPY is making a new high of day. We're here at 635 plus. So does that make sense? How many people are here that, you know, came onto the stream, don't have a strategy, don't have a plan for any of their trades? They just maybe just pick a trade and don't really have a focus on the strategy or a plan behind it? Because, you know, this coaching program can help you understand a simple strategy that will be effective. It doesn't matter if you take 1, 2 losses, they're going to be minimal losses. But when you do make some profit, we're going to maximize that profit with these strategies. And they're very simple to follow. And you can get that in the coaching level, right? It's just a little notch up from free. You get a little coaching, and then from coaching, you really dial into a strategy and a plan. And once you get that under control, you're not gonna worry. You're gonna do everything by yourself, and you're gonna start making this a well-oiled cash printing machine because you got a strategy that you're focused on that works, and a trading plan to back it up, to protect your downside, to know where to aim for the upside, and just keep on doing it, rinse and repeating. You don't need to go focus on 20 indicators. You focus on a few indicators that you understand. So yeah, Tesla right here, I'm just going to watch. It's really kind of fizzling out. It's not really getting no momentum. The market itself is ripping back up, but we got Tesla just a little flat here. And I'm just going to look for this rejection of VWAP or rejection of 306.75. Now, if we get above this level, then I'm not going to be biased and say I'm going to try to play the downside. If we start building momentum, we play the upside as well. But we're going to see here if we get the hard rejection at this level. Adrian also took that American Eagle call yesterday after you guys mentioned it in the live stream. Hell yeah. That's what I have to see. I can make money all day long, but seeing students and members making money and you know, mentioning it, that's what makes us feel 10 times happier. Is that you guys are making the money. I don't care. We can make money. That's okay. We know how to. But it's seeing you guys learn and become better traders is really what makes it worth it. So Adrian, nice stuff there. You sold 7 a few minutes ago, kept 3 runners. You're up $1,000, 68%. So you bought 10 contracts yesterday, and they were cheap contracts. They're $1.45, so $145 per contract. And their expiration was 2026. So we have plenty of time to even see those 3 runners go higher if we wanted to. But right now, protecting yourself also should be on the table too. You took 7 profits already on 7 contracts. You're up a good amount. what is your next move on it is what matters. Now, are you going to just let it ride down if it decides to drop and go red, or are you going to protect yourself, keep yourself in the profits, and just aim for more upside? But if it doesn't happen, where's your limit for that protection? Adrian's good at that anyway, so I'm just preaching. He already knows. So yeah, so Tesla's going to be a big one that we follow, and then Google. You guys mentioned Google. Google dropped a little bit. Looks like it's not really pushing back up. It's kind of selling off a little bit here into market open. But also, we have screeners that could just take out the noise as well, right? So instead of looking at 50,000 stocks and trying to pick a few out of those 50,000, we have screeners to narrow it down to 1 or 2 pages to go through. And from there, all you're going to do is go through a few of them that you like to set up. You go look at the fundamentals. So you go into like stock analysis, right? Somewhere like that. And you go through the financials of the company. Go through financials, look at SEC filings, look if there's any insider buying, things like that, to give us that extra that I like this setup. Now I'm backed up with fundamentals. Like there's got to be a few things for me to get into a trade before I jump in. And fundamentals, I've come a long way as well. I used to be just a TA, technical analysis guy. Let me just trade off support and resistance levels. That's going to be great. Let me just trade off that. It could work. But now it's like, I just want to know more about the company to make sure it's quality and just not garbage. I'm old enough to not want to invest in garbage anymore. I want to invest in quality. And that's why I add that extra tool into my arsenal now. It's like, okay, technical looks great, but if the fundamentals are bleeding out, why would I jump into something like that? Why would I, as a person, go in and buy a company that's bleeding? Would you buy a company that's bleeding, their financials, revenues dropping, net income's negative, cash is low? Like, why would you want to go buy that company to own? Same goes to trading. Why would you want to buy that company if it's bleeding out, right? It's your money that you're investing into that, following that company. So it's you start to learn these things along the way. It makes it a magical experience, to be honest, because you start to just add a few little things to your strategy, and it just makes sense, and your P&L starts to just be consistent over time. So you can definitely use like a free website like Stock Analysis to go through. Like we can go through Tesla, and we know it's dropping right now, but we can look at the financials and we can see, revenues increasing. It's been very strong over time, but now we're starting to see decrease in revenue. So things like this could be red flags, reasons for you not to maybe get into a trade, because you start to see it, revenue growth, but then the revenue starts to fall off, and maybe the net income goes negative, and maybe the cash flow is negative. All these things could be red flags to prevent you from getting into a trade and taking a loss in a trade. So, we can look at the last quarter right now for Tesla, 92 billion, but they were at 97 billion. Before that, they were lower, but now we're decreasing. That's a little red flag for me to follow. Same thing with like EPS. That EPS growth of negative 54%. What does that tell you? That's another red flag. Why are we decreasing now? What's going on? So we can also do a little research into press releases, into SEC filings, to see if there's any challenges that's going on that could affect the overall stock price action and future. So net income very negative now, right? It's still positive. We're still in the positive range of 5.8 billion, but we also got to look at the previous years. It was much higher. So what's going on? and margins getting hit. You know, once that margin gets hit, also spooks investors long term. Why would I get into something that's not growing anymore? So with Tesla, I just be, you know, reviewing these kind of things, listening to the earnings, seeing what information they can give us, to also put into our plan for that particular trade. So yeah, so right now I'm just gonna watch Tesla. Tesla's trying to bounce here. I also got my Maverick indicator, which is a part of my strategy that you can add on to your TradingView. It will help you guide you with buying and selling signals. And I built this based on my strategy that I teach, so it will help you instead of you trying to figure it out just like an SMA, you know, on your chart. This ribbon will help you know where it's trending down, if it's bearish, if it's bullish. It will start to go red to green if it's more upside momentum. So this indicator will also help you with the strategy, when to buy, when to sell. Like we can go to the daily, and it will give you some clean signals on where to buy here and where we should sell if it starts to go bearish. So very clean red to green signals based on the strategy that you can also learn as well. A very clean entry is very clean selling points. And also you can play downside momentum as well, not just upside. So Tesla, yeah, Tesla's now, we're right here, and this ribbon also is going to help as a guide as well. Like you can see it's hitting this top of the ribbon and getting rejection. So right now, it's still not bullish for me based on the strategy. Still bearish until we start to curl up here. We go through the chat, see what's going on here. Market's over less than half an hour. Who still has settled cash? That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing for me I've learned is going into market open and just rushing into a trade. I just been more relaxed in market open now and just wait it out. If I get late, like okay, I'm taking the kids to school, I'm back. There's a lot of traffic, and I hit the desk at 9:20. I'm just not. I don't have enough time to plan something, so I'm just not going to jump into a trade until I have a plan, and that may come 30 minutes after market opens. I can't just be panicking, have anxiety, and try to jump into a trade without a plan. So if I get home late, then I just let it play out. Let it play out first 30 minutes and then set myself up with maybe a potential trade then. I'm in that first 30 minutes I'm planning. But for Tesla, yeah, so we saw above VWAP. The ribbon itself is built off my strategy, is still in a bearish state. We saw the rejection off the green line there, and it's pulling back down. So I am going to look to take a Tesla put if we lose 306 here. I'm going to take one down towards the low of day if we lose and close like a 3-minute candle below 306. And you see, that's my plan. I'm not going to stray off that plan whatsoever. If it doesn't hit, I'm not taking it. I have that in my plan. Let's see. Took off back home. Yeah, how many people like to swing here? Like, how many people are interested in swing trading? How many people are interested in day trading? If I literally hit my desk, I would be unconscious. So that would be alarming. Both, okay. How do you split those trades up? Do you have different like accounts or made up for day trading and swing trading? What's been more effective for you? Like your P&L is what's worked both? What's worked better for you? One in the chat for swings, 2 for day trades. That's great. I love that. Let's see. 2-day trading. Okay. And it's okay. And there's no wrong answer there. Day trading, you can be in and out the same day and just be cash settled for the end of the day and not have to worry about anything that goes on, right? You're just day trading. So you don't know, you don't care what's going on overnight in Japan or China, or there's some GDP over there comes in super weak, market tanks. You really don't care because you're in and out for the same day. So it's good that you already dialed into what works for you. So that's just a trick question to see if you guys know what works better for you already. Tricky Ricky. Yeah. So I'm glad some of you guys saying swing trading. And for those that joined us from the coaching program, because I do have the coaching program today at 11. So if you want to join that, let us know. It starts at 11 o'clock Eastern. Today will be my weekly coaching live stream where we review charts, we review setups, we review what happened for the week. So for any students that are here, you take any good trades based on any our strategy and trading plans for the week or the last 2 weeks. Have you effectively taken a trading plan that we talked about or a strategy and it's worked for you? Do you want to wait until Tesla loses VWAP? Yeah. Well, I'm on TradingView. So 306 is the loss of VWAP for me. So I'm on a 3-minute time frame. All I'm looking is for a loss of 306 and a candle close under that. And then I take the trade. And I'm not like ready to press the button or anything. I'm just going to wait for that to set up for me. And if it follows through, we're going to have time to get into that trade because the sell side volume right down here will start to trickle back in. And we're going to have, it's not going to be a second to get in. We're going to have a little bit of time to get into that trade once it falls under VWAP and starts accelerating again. They're beautiful setups, yeah. Like Webull, we made money from. American Eagle, we made money from. TTGT, we made money from this week. But there's so many trades that are just quality trades, and they can be under $10 a share. So they could be for any, even if you have a small account, you can still find these trades. We're just looking for quality. That's all we're focused on here: quality over quantity. So we could find literally a stock that's $4 and everything is quality about it, and it's maybe undervalued, and it's selling up great by our strategy. We're going to jump into that trade. It doesn't matter if it's like under $5. If it's undervalued or we see something growing within the company, we like it. We like the setup. We take that trade. It doesn't have to be $100 stock. There's where do you think those started from? Tesla started from under $100. Google, all these companies started cheap, and now their valuation is much higher because of the growth. So we can literally find those companies early as well. So yeah, Tesla. So it's coming up to that 306. We're right on VWAP. Now we want to see a loss of 306. See this candle's got 5 seconds to close, so we may see it on the next candle. See the follow through. Now I'll be looking at a $300 put here, day trade. If we aim for 10-15% on our target, then that's the max I'm willing to take on the risk side as well, right? Because day trading is 1 for 1 technically. So if I'm risking 5%, I'm going to look for 5%, at least 5% return on that trade for the day. Yeah, thank you, TNT, for mentioning that. That one class that we went over, nuclear stocks, we had what do we have? 6 or 7 nuclear stocks. We went over that one class. because we researched, we looked at sectors that may blow up, and nuclear power was talked a lot in this administration, unlocking nuclear power, and we went through a few that just had very good, strong fundamentals, but maybe they were ready to take off, but we were planning for that. So they weren't ready that instance, but we planned it out. So when it did happen, we're in Flynn, right? And we're in early, but we got confirmation. And SMR, I think when were we in SMR? Under $20, and it hit now 50 something. So that feels great that we had that whole class. The SMR now is 48, but it was in the 50s, I believe, right? So we planned that trade out around $18, and it wasn't too long ago, a couple months ago, and it hit $50 high recently. So that feels great when we can focus on a sector and plan out a few trades. It really works well when everyone's on the same track, same page, and we're just planning out a few of these and we're just printing. Yes, the Tesla's now below 306. Let me look at $300 puts here. Let me bring up my little option chain. There's acceleration, right? So, but if you guys can see this chart, what do you see? Like we saw this here, but what do we see here coming? Anyone know that? What we see down here? And normally when we see that come in, we normally see the price action follow, right? So you can see the buy side volume come in, and what happened to price action? We followed up right behind it. So the same thing with this sell side, right? Now look what's happening. Once this flipped to sell side volume that came in, look at the price action. We got rejection, and look what we did. We start falling again. And that's me just looking at volume and then price action right behind it. Anyone in Tesla puts? Man, it's accelerating now. It's going so fast. Well, the puts are pretty cheap, actually, like $250. Yeah, I missed my fill there too. I grabbed one. Okay, now what's you have a plan for that? Do you have a max risk that you're willing to take for that trade? And do you know your target point for that trade? That's all it is, guys, is just making sure you follow through with what you put out as a plan. And it's okay to take the loss. You don't have to say, well, it's going to come back. I'm hoping it's going to come back. It's going to come back. No, it's down 50%, but it's going to come back. No, it's 80%. It's going to come back. We don't trade off of hope. We're going to follow our plan, and don't change. Just follow the plan. There's a reason why maybe you put stop just under support. It's because if we lose it, we're going to see much more downside. So don't put yourself through the pain of that. You have a plan. Sailor Brown has a plan. No golf clap for Sailor Brown. Okay. No, I'm sure you guys are green. So, make sure you protect your downside if we decide to pop back up. I don't want you to go, really deep in red, right? If you're green 5%, 10%, you can raise your stops up along the way. You don't need to go deep red if you're a little green. So you can do that by percentages, or you can do that maybe above VWAP again, or above this 306.75 is okay. If it breaks above that again, I'm cutting my position. I've got to get better at trading my own account while I'm actually on the live stream too. It's multitasking, man. I multitask other things like posting online and chatting and like putting updates, but trying to live trade and be live streaming and be trying to teach is it's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna get used to this over time. I'm gonna swear I'm gonna be live trading my account more on these streams. It's a lot to take in here. So okay, so we got this move downside still, momentum to the downside. We don't have no shift yet. We don't have no buying. Took 9%. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of hats. Like I like to be more relaxed, and me trying to do everything in one go. It's I can do many other things behind the scenes, but in a stream, and then my first stream of this whole cycle, and then trying to help you guys get into a strategy or the coaching to get you guys on the right path. I don't want to try to focus on my trades myself. I'm here to help. Pretty much. But at least we did something here with Tesla. Let's see what happens. We get a little buy, but let's see. See if we get a little flickering here. So for me, like looking at this, I'm on the 3-minute. Like if this gets above the green line here that I got on my chart, and we start to see a bullish signal, then that's when I would say, well, it's not looking bearish anymore. Based on that strategy. Now, if it just retests here and then falls down, then my sentiment is still bearish. But once we start to see a move, because we've been below this ribbon from get-go, if we start to see that shift, then I'd be looking for an exit. And I'm not bringing no emotions into that. I'm not saying, well, I'm going to stay in, hope it comes back down. No, I'm just going to trade off of this strategy. Okay, from 1 to 10, you're a master. Option trading. And we do have another coach here, which he may be in the house, Swing and Ball. He does passive option trading as well, that he teaches that builds passive income. So, if you don't trade equity or swings, we have a few other strategies for options in the house as well. Not just equity, day trade, swings. I do dabble, like I say, a little bit from time to time into option day trades or some swings like American Eagle, 6 months out, we're building a position for those expirations from 6 months. We got some time. It's on our side. It's not like the same week expiration. So we have some time with those swings. So I do a little bit of that. Teaching wise, I just teach what's the most effective for me, what's worked for me. I'm not going to change. And you can see I just focus on one stock, right? I'm not going through 5 different stocks at this point. I'm focused. My head is in the game with Tesla only. I'm not going for all through these tickers and just trying to find a trade. No, I'm just focused on this one until this one doesn't work out or does work out. Then I go on to the next if I find another one. Let's have a look at. I got on the top screen here. Let's have a look at SPY. SPY is dropping a little bit, still green for the day. What else we got going on? We got S&P a little green. What's Nasdaq? I think Dow is down still. Let's have a look at Dow. Dow's down. It bounced a little bit pre-market, but it's still down 0.5%. Google is about to go red as well, so be careful if you're in any Google calls. And United Healthcare had that huge Justice Department request that actually, I don't know if you guys remember that. Wall Street Journal brought out the news a while back that they were being investigated for some kind of fraud. United came, we saw like the stock price overall come way down, right? It dropped quite a bit from 600 down to 250. And then they basically came out saying, no, we don't have a letter from the Department of Justice yet. There's nothing going on. This is false information. Well, today they got that letter investigating for some fraud. So now we're seeing it actually came through the pipeline. It's true. And now we're seeing some backlash in the stock price now, right? We saw it drop down to 277 from 292. It's recovering a little bit, up $10 from low of pre-market. So there is some other news going out there that you can take advantage of, bounce trades or more downside based on news. That's what I want to look at. United Healthcare is just one that's just getting trashed with all these news, with all this Justice Department requests, and they say that they're complying with it. But if nothing happens and they're not found guilty of no Medicare fraud, or maybe it's a slap on the wrist, maybe they get a little fine. They're like, okay, well, it wasn't that bad. We thought it was bad, but it's not bad. I'm just trying to find some ways to justify a bounce back up, right? So if that's the case, then nothing really happens. Just like you remember XRP when they were under investigation in the crypto world, it got trashed. But once they got, once that was voided and they actually never got found guilty, it reversed way back up, right? XRP. Same thing applies here. If they do not get found guilty of this fraud, just have it on a watch list, because if they don't get found guilty, this stock will bounce right back up. And I could see this being probably at $400 if that's the case, because it's now at 286, very undervalued at the current levels based on fundamentals. But if they're found guilty, we may see a lot more downside. But if they're not found guilty and it's very minimal, then I reckon this stock will bounce right back up to $400 or $500 over time. It won't be in a week, but it may be in a year's time. But one for maybe a long-term portfolio pick. So once that investigation's over with, then maybe I take a longer-term position if it's better news for them. But they got a lot of things going on, like internally, my lord. So Tesla's bouncing here. We got some volume, buy side volume, come back in. Still not flipping to that sediment yet to the bull side. The RSI is still below 50, and we still got VWAP there, and we still have the SMA 20 ribbon here. We still have it below that. So these pops are nice. Maybe this is a start. But right now, it's based on what I'm looking for. It's not quite a reversal yet. Do we get that, guys? I don't want to. If you guys are lost, let me know. If you have any questions, now's the time to really ask those questions. Or if you're a little confused, let me know too. Let me go through the chats. Yeah, DMAC trade was good. That's also, I've mentioned DMAC over time. Just remember to look at the disclaimer before you jump into any of those trades, as we have, certain deals with these companies. So you guys definitely have to look at the disclaimers on those picks that I put out in the channels. But DMAC was one, and we're never going to point you guys in the wrong direction. We're going to, if we're going to put something out there, it's going to be based on a strategy or a decent setup with maybe some new catalysts that are coming up that could really turn the stock up and make us some profit. So, the whole community here is here to get you on the right path. We're not trying to make it worse for you. We're going to try to set you guys up on the right path, and adding coaching, adding psychology classes that we have we believe is the right direction to get you not just focused on alerts anymore. It's just building your own trading strategy and finding your own trades based on it, and not needing alerts anymore. Just going to find it yourself. I'm not going to show you how to fish. we're gonna teach you how to fish so you can do it for the rest of your life and be prosperous, right? And have a good future. So we could sit here and give you alerts all day long, which is great, but um, the long-term goal here is just to get everyone doing it themselves and just stick around for the community and the family feel that we bring. So, we want everyone on a good path, knowing where to find their own trades, knowing their own plan, knowing their own strategy that they learn, and just doing it all themselves in the end. We hold your hand along the way. It's okay. We're going to hold your hand and be there to guide you. But once you get it and you're on the right path, you don't need us anymore. Maybe just to hang out as a community and help the next person. But that's just our primary focus. That's why we're drilling home the coaching and getting you guys on a good path. Not having all the mess that we went through to get there ourselves. So yeah, Tesla here, another rejection. So like it's still very negative. That right here is VWAP. Right here is the ribbon. Still no bullish signal, and still rejection. So it's all I would not be scalping this up and down here. I'd just be looking for the bigger move. And we got into those puts once we lost VWAP. So if we get above maybe 306.75, that will be my max stop, because then we start turning a little bullish there. And that's me just protecting my downside, my capital in the trade. So yeah, I do have the coaching in about 30 minutes, guys. If there's anyone here that loves, loves what they listened to or saw today, and they want to be a part of something, I'll get back on a path, get your P&L more profitable, consistent. I think the others have shared the coaching links. Get signed up, become a part of the group. Get dialed in, and that's get you on the right path to just consistently making profit month over month. Can't promise you it's always going to be that way, but I'm going to promise you that a strategy and plan that I push out there will help you get there. And there will be small losses along the way. It's okay. That's what we do. We deal with small losses, but mitigating those small losses, not just letting it ride down. We're going to minimize it, and then the winners, we just let them ride out a little bit for continuation. We can take profit along the way. We can raise our stops up, but we ultimately will outweigh our losses. Even if you have a 60-70% win rate, you're still with this decent strategy, you're still going to be profitable in the end. So yeah, if you guys want to get signed up, or you have any questions, reach out. In the support ticket, reach out in the chats. We're going to be around. I will be streaming every Thursday morning now in the free section. And I will be bringing some live trading. This is the first one. This is the intro. But we will be bringing some live trades in the mix, talking about some strategies, some coaching, what we're doing in coaching, and to try to help as much as possible. Let me go through the chat, see if there's any questions here. Took an L on Tesla or Rollins. I'm happy that you took a minimal probably L on that, because you could ride that down and probably take a bigger loss. So I'm glad that you controlled that loss there if you took a loss. Let's have a look. Just gonna go through the chats in the Discord. I see a mention here of brokers recommendations. What I use mostly is Webull. I use sometimes I use for some option trades. I use Robinhood sometimes, but don't bash me around the head for saying that. But I use Robinhood is like beginner friendly, but I don't like the feels on equity and swings and stuff on Robinhood. But I prefer Webull for that. But I do use it sometimes for options. So Webull is a good one. Options, I dabble in Robinhood. the bigger accounts, you look at E-Trades. You can look at Think or Swim. I use a few different ones. Fidelity. Those are the ones that you can probably use for longer term kind of investments. Those big boys, but more like short term swing trading, day trading. I use just focus on Webull mostly. I like the features there, and it's easy for me to maneuver just because I'm used to it. So 1200 Novaspire. I've been working with you as well, and we're gonna get on the right path for you there. I mean, we're gonna get you in the right place, and you're gonna start to see some. I know that you were working on being consistent, and it was doing pretty well. So I do want to work more closely with you in the coaching side and get you in a good spot there as well. And yeah, a big shout out to Def Gun as well. I've been seeing those profits, and they're just like consistent 2 or 3% a day. Man, those adds up. I mean, we got Porterhouse here who has a challenge that he's working on. I think 3,000, which he built that $3,000 from a small amount. I think it was like $600 or something. So or less. So you can build those small accounts over time. Compounding is the winner here. Just compound your gains, keep on building your plan and taking your profits, and just keep rinse and repeating the same thing over with maybe different setups or different stocks, or the same stock, just rinse and repeat. But you can literally turn a small account with just a pinpointed strategy and plan. You can build that account up very quickly over a year or two. $100 account could be $1,000 account, could be $10,000 once you start building your account up and you start doing the same thing with a little bit bigger amounts over time. You can turn $1,000 into 10,000, into 50,000, into 100,000 over 5-10 years. And DEFCON, we're following you, man, and we're happy to see you taking these 2-3% per day, and you're focused on that, and the rewards are coming from that focus now. So good shout out there for you, man. Great stuff. Tesla, I got about a minute left, guys, like a couple minutes left. I got to end the stream here, but I do have coaching, like I say, in 30 minutes. So coaching students that are here, I see you over there in my coaching stream. And then anyone interested, hit up the support tickets, look at the links that we post, and hopefully I see some new faces over there in the coaching program. And just before I wrap it up, it's 10:30, so maybe a minute from now I'm going to wrap up. But it's still downside Tesla. If anyone's inputs, because I don't want to leave you hanging. If you're still inputs with Tesla, it's still looking good to the downside until we get above maybe that 306.75 is where I'd be looking. Okay, it's going to really turn and maybe reverse back to 310. So I'd just be looking at this like VWAP and this 306.75. Okay, if you're still in a downside trade, just have some protection in place for this one. Don't just make it up along the way. Have that max stop that you're willing to take with the trade. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. It was a good first stream. Some technical problems at the very beginning with the recording, but we can build off of that next week. And yeah, I will see you guys in the coaching, 11 o'clock. All right, bye for now, guys. Cheers.